So, for most people, vacation is supposed to be a time of relaxation and luxury and excitement and amusement, and even for some, maybe adventurous, because we've all had them spring breaks where we just lay around eating Cheetos all day, not showering for 2 weeks. However, for Katrina Strubinger, vacations haven't always gone according to plan, especially when getting stranded in Cancun, Mexico. But even so, Katrina has always been able to keep her head up in even the most uncomfortable and unpredictable kinds of situations. For those of us who feel like we are lost and we kind of don't know what direction we're going in life, Katrina is someone who would be willing to lend you a hand in her free time to always help you get through it. For those of us who are too shy or too awkward to get through and put ourselves out in school activities or school functions, Katrina is the type of person to make you get out of your comfort zone and try something new. And for those of us who want to be better and do better for not just others, but for ourselves as an individual, Katrina can show you how to reach that ideal. So, 3 main important points that I would like to focus on today about Katrina is 1, her flexibility and her willingness to constantly put her school and any school-related activities first as top priorities, especially with her cheer. 2, her eagerness to always help others. And 3, her impeccable determination of finding her way out of living a life that she often felt lost in. Now, for my first point, I would like to discuss how dedicated Katrina is to all her school activities and functions, especially with her cheerleading. When she was in high school, she was captain of her cheer squad, she was treasurer of her class, a member of the National Honor Society, and she even coordinated the senior prom back at her high school in the Poconos where she is from. Now in Ryder, she continues to pursue her cheerleading career, which has also been a great success. Now at Ryder, she is also the treasurer of the PRSSA Club, which stands for Public Relations Student Society of America. And just a little background on what they do. The Public Relations Student Society of America is the foremost organization for students interested in public relations and communications. We seek to advance public relations profession by nurturing generations of future professionals. We advocate rigorous academic standards for public relations education, the highest ethical principles, and diversity in the profession. And for those of you who could possibly be interested in maybe this major of public relations, this could be a good conversation starter to get to know Katrina, and maybe she could help you find a part in the group. Anyway, I would like to take a moment to explain how Katrina came extremely close to not even attending Rider University, which would seem completely absurd to her now. So originally when she was going through the college process of looking for, in senior year, she was kind of set on LaSalle, but she wasn't really sure. And one day her mom was swimming at the YMCA during her classes and just, talking with the girls, messing around. And this random guy overheard the conversation of her mom talking about the issue with Katrina finding a school. And the guy walked right up to her mother and was like, "Why don't you look into Rider University?" And he didn't say his name. He didn't even say goodbye. He just walked away. Like, it was just normal to walk up to people like, "Hello." So, and they never saw him again. However, as mentioned before, Katrina is extremely involved in her dedication to cheer and maintaining a high GPA at the same time. Never, ever, ever, ever does she go home to see her family on weekends because of cheer, or because of special events that she would be cheering at. But even with all the high demands that cheer brings, especially when it oftentimes will keep you from being able to stay home for full spring break, Katrina continuously captures the catalyst character to never stop being involved in her school responsibilities, whether it be keeping up with a new cheer routine or working on her speech for Com 204. Now, on to my second point. Katrina loves to help people. If there's such a thing as a perfect human being, Katrina comes pretty darn close. When Katrina was in high school, she took it upon herself as her senior project to get into the community service. And what she did was she created her own organization, which is called Education Creations Across Nations. And what the kids in her class did was, in the middle school and the high school, they all made handmade books for countries that didn't have as much as they did. So they chose to send their books to Uganda. And during my research, I was actually able to find a quote from Katrina that she said that was published in the paper that I felt summed up this entire point pretty good. So, speaking as Katrina, she said, "Through my organization, I collect books with educational purposes created by students at Layton area, middle, and high schools. I will then be sending them overseas to schools in need of education materials. My intention is to help give children an education who are not able to receive one that is up to the same standards as mine. I want to increase their chances for success. I truly believe that this organization can help change the lives of children forever. This is my chance to impact children's lives around the world in a positive way. If this doesn't show you in the slightest way of what a terrific person Katrina is, then I don't know what else I can do to convince you. However, as I mentioned before, Katrina is such an extremely generous person when it comes to taking the time to help others in need. Katrina isn't someone focused on solely herself or only on her well-being or only on her success, but that of the success and achievement of others. Now, for my third and final point, Katrina is a person of determination and drive to never allow herself to give up on things when there seems to be lacking hope. At one point in Katrina's life, she truly and impeccably felt lost. During most of Katrina's life, she always felt out of place, and she was always looking for that matching puzzle to her piece, if you will. But being the motivated person Katrina is, she looked beyond the feeling of disarray and persistently worked to be successful in all aspects of her life. Some people would have given up early and just said, forget it, I don't need to deal with this, whatever it may be. But Katrina never did that. She took every opportunity that life gave her and decided to make it work for her, because that is the kind of person that she is, and if you get to know her, you will see that. Earlier on, I mentioned the story when Katrina got stranded in Cancun, Mexico, which definitely was not the highlight of her vacation. What happened was her family was spending their vacation there, and they decided to do some touristy things, and they were going to go swimming with the dolphins, which sounds pretty awesome to me. But when they were finished, they were supposed to get a ride back from their hotel, and the hotel cab that was supposed to be there for them had left, and they weren't picking them up. And their parents had no idea where they were, and they didn't know what was going on, so they were basically stranded. And what was supposed to be a nice day swimming with weird sea life became an issue for them. But all the while, with even all the chaos going on, Katrina didn't panic, and she stayed optimistic, and she brought the calmness to her family, as she always does to people around her. With that being said, Katrina isn't someone who waits for things to happen, she makes them happen. In all of her life, Katrina has always found the drive to find herself within and make it work. To sum up my 3 points, Katrina is just a fabulous person to know. There was no one like her, and she's just a one-of-a-kind kind of girl. She gives her heart and soul into everything she does, whether it be involving school, the assisting of others, or even with comforting herself. She has so much more to accomplish in life than just lending her hand to help others. She has the ability to conquer and correct the corruption we live in. Whether it be your feeling of loneliness in a world that has you spinning, or trying to branch out in a crowd of unfamiliar faces, Katrina is someone who would always be willing and ready to lend you the hope that she keeps as fuel for her fire within. Thank you.